We're gonna rock this out. You are using a cream makeup to help color correct issues under your eyes that you're having. Now, I love using Seint 3D foundation, and I'm going to add the Demi Correctors into the mix from Seint as well. This is some of the best stuff that is definitely not on the market like this in the beauty industry. You gotta stick around. Here we go. For the past 6 years, you have seen me using Seint's 3D foundation. It is my absolute favorite. Talk about a palette that does not waste space. You know how when you get a makeup palette, you open it up and you're like, oh, this size palette for 5 colors? What? These are all magnetized that fit into these little tins, and you get to put it however your heart desires. However you want to fill your palette, you can. I have other ones that have different blushes in them, or you can put eyeshadows in the bottom. However your heart desires, that's how you take care of Seint's 3D foundation. So I have you taken care of today. Now, on my face throughout is my 3D foundation, but I have not done my under eyes yet, and I want to be able to really get to the bottom of that. So I'm gonna teach you a couple different things, okay? Now, under our eyes and on our face, whether we have sunspots or anything like that, we have a plethora of colors. We can have issues that are just under our eyes. We can have sunspots, we can have acne scarring, we can have hyperpigmentation, melasma, but you name it, there's actually a color behind it. So if it's something that looks a little muddy, let's say it looks more of a gray color, that really has a blue background to it. And as you look, it really takes care of that blue, but at what level? Because a lot of things start to go into the green realm or into the purple realm in a blue. And I am here to help you with that. Now, Demi Correctors is where you take a color that is a specific color. Looking at this color wheel, you will see that a lot of the colors in mine have to do with oranges and reds and yellows. That is because, here's my oranges, reds, and yellows. A lot of the areas that we have in the face pull a blue to a purple and a green. That's how a lot of them are. Acne scarring more has a blue in it. That little ashy type, dirty color has a blue to it. And so when we take care of acne scarring, it really can take into like this realm where it's a red and an orange to take care of the scarring in this family. Sunspots, they look brown. But when you dig in deeper, sunspots are in a green or a blue family. It took me forever to figure this out. It took Kara forever to figure this out. There's a color deeper than what we see. So my job as the Seint artist for you is to help you hone in on what colors. So if you ever need a custom color match, you come to me, fitmissionmakeup.com. I will tell you what colors are best for you. But here's the thing with the 3D, or the 3D versus the Demi. The 3D, I can get like spot on with the colors that you need for your whole foundation. But with Demi, the colors can change because the colors that we pull that are blue or green or anything like that, they're moody. As in, maybe yesterday you didn't drink as much water, or maybe you're on your period, or maybe you traveled, or something like that, okay? So when that is coming into play, it can shift every day. Or sometimes like my scar, I have a scar that goes from here to here. When the weather has changed, it shows up differently. And that can happen for you too. Or maybe you have acne. Acne changes from day to day. Maybe one day it was more in this red thing, but then you picked it and it had changed colors. That changes. Bruising. Every single day you bruise, it looks different, right? So things are always changing, whereas this is going to change too. But what we can do here is figure it out a little bit here together, okay? So I have 2 cameras on me today. One is you're looking straight at me, and the other one is coming in from the side. Straight on, side. Straight on, side. Okay, the side one is gonna help us to zoom in so that you can see how I use my brush, and we're gonna get to the nitty gritty of it. So anytime that you're working with the under eyes, I got a secret for you. Comment below if you get creasing when you apply your makeup. And do you think that it's maybe the makeup's problem, or no matter what you do, the makeup creases, right? You've tried so many different brands, whatever you do, the makeup creases. It's you. The problem is you. It's not the makeup. Our under eye muscles, if you just don't believe me right now, go pull up Safari and go look at the muscles in the face. The muscles turn differently than how they come here. On top of that, I want you to touch your skin under your eye. And I want you to see this. We're gonna zoom in right here. The skin under my eye is very thin and very movable. By the touch of the slightest touch, it's moving. Now I'm gonna touch right here. This can't do what this can do. When I smile, look how wide and spread apart these wrinkles are. When I smile here, look how tiny and close and thin. There's not very much fat in between each, which means you have a way higher chance of creasing under your eyes than anywhere else on your face. The only other one that would be closer is your lips, because those are getting thin and that moves a ton. But even that can't touch. That's way more fatty than the under eyes and the skin. And when I just touch that skin, how much it shifts, where when I touch here, it can't, okay? So the under eyes, if you put pretty much anything, you're gonna crease. So I wanna show you something really quick. So for your under eyes, even a brush this big could be too big for you. For me, it's too big because I have such small features in my face and because I have crazy fine wrinkles under my eye. Now, telling you that your muscles are different around your eye, I'm not telling you have tiny muscles under your eye. I'm telling you your muscles are shaped different, which they're gonna move different, and then all the little faces you make in your face, it all moves differently than here, okay? So that's the first thing. Now, when we're gonna go in with a teeny tiny brush, you're also gonna see something different on my tutorials than you might see on other people's tutorials. This brush right here, I don't even think with the camera we can get to as nitty gritty as it needs to be, but you will see that there is a piece. In fact, I think maybe if I do this, you can see it better. So do you see that yellow that I just put on the brush? That yellow that is the only part of your brush that I want you to have makeup on, but it's even gonna be less than that. So I showed you that for video, it's gonna be less than that. And do you know how we know if it needs to be less than that? Because if I can paint a color on my hand, if I can show color marks on my hand like that, that means that I had too much on my hand with this product. Don't believe me? Try using a little bit more and see if you crease. And then get to where you can't even do this, and then put that in key places and tell me if you crease, because you won't, okay? If you're using the littlest amount and how it should be, you will not crease. So today I'm giving you the 3D and the Demi Correctors. So I do already have my 3D on, but I'll still show you some things of how you can make them all work together. So let's dive in. So for my under eyes, again, with the color wheel, and maybe we can put the color wheel now from here on out in the rest of this video until I say so. We can put a color wheel in the corner of this video, and you can always look at this color wheel and utilize it. Now, what I want you to pay close attention to really quick, like, is you're gonna hear me say Y1, O1, Y01, R1, R01, things like that, okay? The one just means it is a lighter in color. So this is a O1, and the one next to it is O3, okay? So you can just see that the O1 is lighter than the O3. Now, when I go into you'll see in my palette that I have these little pin marks. I don't have any sweeps. I just have these pin marks. I'm coming in like a bullseye, boop, right into that tip that I already showed you. So just like a bullseye, I'm coming into that tip, so you're never sweeping out any of this color, ever. You sweep it out, you're gonna get too much under your eyes. Now, under my eyes, I'm going to look, I'm always gonna face a window. The first time you use Demi, I highly recommend facing a window. Don't go into a bathroom, anything like that, because it creates different shadows and you can't see your colors as well. The other thing I recommend is the first times you're using it, do it on a day that you have time to kind of mess around. That's gonna be huge for you too. Okay, under my eyes, especially to somebody who doesn't fully know color, it's gonna be hard to tell. Your very first time using this, you're gonna have these colors that I'm gonna match you to, and you're gonna be like, Joss, I don't even know where to start. A great place to start is the level O. O is good because O is with the blues, okay? Why is the O with the blues? Because across from the color wheel is blue with orange, okay? Blue, B, O, across from the color wheel. So that's a great place to start, and then you wanna start on the area that you feel more blue. Now, if you can see that it has a tint to purple, then you can do a YO1, which is yellow, orange, because yellow, orange is across from the color wheel with a blue and a purple, okay? So I'm gonna try this O1 to start. And I'm gonna go in with my brush. I'm gonna come in here right with my brush straight into my face, not down like this, not anything that is bringing in a downward motion. I'm gonna turn my hand like a chopstick, and the chopstick is coming right at my eye, and I'm gonna hit that area, the darkest points first. So every time I go to touch the next area, I'm thinking, hey Joss, is this really where your darkest point is? So I don't just touch the face to touch the face. I'm touching the face because I'm paying attention to where I need to hit. So this is with my O1. And you see me keep touching it even though I haven't gone into the makeup minimally, because I don't need to really take care of that area. Remember, I'm thinking it through. Does this really need to be here? Next thing I ask myself is, do I need O1 there? Or do I need YO1? And I'm gonna bring YO1 down here. Why am I gonna bring in YO1 now? Because it looks a little more purple than it did as blue as up above. Since it looks a little bit more purple, I'm just gonna see. You know how I know? Because when I use that minimal amount, it just melts in like butter. You can't see all this coloring, and it takes care of that darker color. And we are taking care of it. This is the YO1. Okay, now inside my eye here, this looks more blue, so I'm gonna take the O1. And I'm gonna follow this line of where things look blue. And again, I'm thinking to myself, Joss, are you going only where you need to? Or are you just smearing it around? So I am making sure I'm skipping to only where needed. Okay, so I'll bring this in so you can see it from straight on. So I'm going to, this area right here, I see freckles. So I'm actually gonna try the RO1, because freckles usually have green. And I don't know if this is gonna work. So it's looking a little more pink. And like I said, you'll know if it's right because it will look like it's the right color. If it's looking the color of what that color is, it's not right. So I'm gonna take that off and I'm gonna try the O1. That didn't do much. I'm gonna try the YO1. Again, I'm thinking through it. I feel like that's doing better. But I'm gonna try Y1 just to see. Taking off all excess off of my brush. Oh yeah, that's much better. So what I needed was the Y1. And now we're getting it right smack dab, right onto those areas, and it's neutralizing out. And you can have an area and it needs more than one color too. So just remember that as well. I'm gonna take the Y1, and you might not see me doing this, but I am taking my, I'll grab out some color and I'll go poke my hand, and my hand, I don't know if you can see, but my hand is getting a little bit spotted. And it's getting spotted because I had a little bit too much color on. And because I had a little too much color on my brush, that can make me crease. So I poke my hand before it starts. Okay, I'm gonna come in to this purplish area. See how you see that color? I got a little too much. So I'm gonna get off the excess with my brush or onto my hand, and I'm gonna paint out that purple color on those broken capillaries. Broken capillaries usually do pretty good with the Y01 or the O1 because they're either purple blue or just purple. Remember, a lot of the areas in the face, think of the blood. So the blood isn't red, it's going into the purple and the blue. Like even acne, if you picked it, you've agitated that skin. So more than likely you don't need green because people think acne's red. You need to go more to the orange because it had that purple and that blue to it. Okay, so I have my Demi where I really just wanted to hit those areas that drove me crazy. I don't need to go into every area under my eye. I'm going like this because when I open my face, I can see all those broken capillaries where my skin's really textured. And I have a lot. Ooh, see how that's too much? See how you see all that color on my face? That's way too much. And instead of smearing it, we don't want to smear it around. We want to make sure we get off all the excess off of the brush and then only hit up the areas that really need it. So that really didn't do anything on that spot, which makes me know that's not the color for it. Again, that was too much. Oh yeah, so it needed 01 on that spot. Okay, now this is where the 3D comes in, because I really could go in and do that whole thing. And that's what, if you go back and look at my past Demi videos, I was doing my whole face with Demi. But I realized that I can do just the 3D foundation in key places and the Demi correctors in key places. So this is what I'm going to do now. So now I'm gonna take a smaller end. I'm gonna take a smaller ended brush. And if you even wanna take smaller than that, you can. You're gonna take your 3D foundation and you're now gonna look, the goal is we want to keep as much shine under our eye as possible. The more makeup you put there, you can't see the shine. You really, really want it to be less. So I'm gonna take this 3D foundation and I'm gonna put one small little dab, and even when you see the color on there, like, you're like, wait, is there color on there? I promise there is. So I'm gonna do one tiny dab there, and I'm going to do one tiny dab there. And see how you can barely see color? You barely can. Now I'm going to take my color and I'm gonna start down here. We're never gonna go up under the eye. So I'm gonna come right here and you can see that color. Like, it looked like there was nothing on my brush and you can see that color. And I'm gonna hit up that area right there. Okay, and I'm gonna just hit though the areas that have the most pigmentation. So look right now, it looks spotted, right? It looks like I just put it in key places because I did. Now, because there's not much extra on my brush, I'm going to just keep stippling in these areas. And I'm going to make sure that I am hitting them only if needed. And if you have texture under your eye, like I do, and it's starting to look more drab, we have these things that are actually not gonna exist with Seint anymore, that you can take them, they're the Demi Balm, and you can place it right there and add a little sheen to your skin to make that texture not show as much. Okay. Now I'm coming in. And then what's under my eye, nothing is on my brush anymore, but what I'm doing is I'm melting everything in together under that eye. Okay, Now I'm gonna take my 3D foundation and I'm going to take the blush and apply it as if I didn't have on blush before. And just make sure that that looks nice and polished. And now we have a super natural look. So I'm gonna do it on this other side without talking so I can just go through it. And we'll keep it zoomed in tight on that side. And you'll just see how I do things. I'll say what colors I moved to. Okay, I'm gonna start with 01. This one I got a little too much, so I'm taking off excess. Going to 03 onto this area. Remember, each area I hit, I'm really thinking about it. To you, it will look like I'm just applying to apply, but I'm not. I know that I'm asking myself, does this really need to go there? Is that needed? Now R01. That R01 was not needed there because it turned out pink. So I'm gonna do 01. That's much better. See, sometimes you just guess and you're wrong, so you fix it. Okay, inner corner. Nope, see how it shows up orange? That was not needed there. So I'm gonna do Y1. Perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna take my 3D foundation, my teeny tiny dab, one of my main, one of my brightener, and I'm gonna start out here, and you can see that color pick up, and I'm gonna keep it out here, and then stipple in closer, like so, and then address this skin right here. And make sure there's nothing on my brush right now. I'm just making sure that this blended up into here. And this friction that you get from doing this is key. And then I want to take some of that balm to that textured area that my skin has. Somebody probably doesn't have that, but I do. And that wakes up the skin. I have a little glitter. Okay, I'm gonna take my lip and cheek and just pop it on that cheek. And we are done. So I was able to get to the bottom of my eyes, have really clear, clean looking skin with using such a minimal amount. That's how you can use your 3D foundation with the Demi Correctors, making the two of them work together. Now let's say that you had areas in here that had sunspots. There's two different ways you can apply. You can go in and take care of your face just normal with your 3D foundation and just like hit your areas up. For example, I have melasma right there, so I'm going to build my foundation with it, and then after it's done, I'm just gonna take a tiny bit of 03 and hit on that area just a little bit, and 05. So 05 is just darker. It's starting to look like a really darker color. And it's just gonna help the orange tones pull out of the melasma type look. And take care of that area. Or if the area is just something that you can combat easy, you can go in with your teeny tiny spot brush. You can take care of the area at hand, the issue that needs to be taken care of, and then you can apply your 3D foundation around it. So it would look something like this. You would take care of the area. Let's pretend this is the area. And then you're going to do your makeup like normal. You would just hit by that area or stay with a smaller brush next to it. Stay with a smaller brush next to it and just be very purposeful for what you apply next to it, using a small brush and things like that, so you're not messing it up. So, how are we doing? Did that help? Did that make more sense with Demi Correctors? They are so helpful. The things that we've had in the past, the texture of them is very silky, very crazy pigmented because it's way too loose. Let me show you this. Like, this is me rubbing it in my hand. It gets that strong. This is me doing the same exact thing with the 3D foundation. And see how it holds onto it? It got it in those one areas, but it holds on to it. You see how it's thicker in one area? That's because the consistency of this is really gonna grab hold of that skin more so than it is with one of these, because it's just too soft. It's just too silky, soft, smooth. But also how we teach people to use this is way different too than going in and just being right to the point. So the key takeaway from this is less is more. No creasing under the eyes, no creasing where the issue is at hand, making sure that it's minimal for you, and you're gonna love it. Like, it takes a little bit of practice. You might not like it the first time. It takes a little bit of practice, but I think you're gonna love it. All right, so if you want a custom color match, because you've never had one, fitmissionmakeup.com. If you are one of my customers and you've been using Demi and you're like, email me. It says that in your color match. If you wanna check in with me or email me, you're struggling with something, email me. The email is in the color match, okay? So Jocelyn at fitmissionmakeup.com is where you can email me. fitmissionmakeup.com is where you can go to get a custom color match. If you have any questions, let me know. Take care, have a good one. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like. Give it a little thumbs up, give it a little love, and go find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. And we'll talk to you later.